There are no problems, and there is no question you can ask without already knowing the answer to that question. The only thing that hinders myself or you from time to time, in the past, maybe in the future, maybe for the whole lifetime, or maybe no more, is the cowardness to accept that which you already have answered to that question. That eliminates a lot of confusion, questions, and all that. And let's say you don't like the answer to your question. When you admit to yourself what it really is that you would like to see, what you would like to, what you keep in your side that you don't want to sort of answer to yourself. And confusion and cowardness might take one on long journeys, a lot of seeking, a lot of affiliations here and there, and then change one affiliation, one belief system for another, make the 180 turn on some questions, this or that, all just because you can't accept or swallow what you already have swallowed as the answer to the question. This is a human phenomenon. It is just the way things are. Now, too much of this is bad, and none of it is really good. So, no more questions, basically, regarding your personal life, development, happiness, joy, love, your like or dislike of something. And when it comes to problems, when you realize that there is a problem or something that you need to solve a problem, you have already, you, me, everybody has already, by doing that, said, this is not good enough, I'm not good enough, where I am is not good enough. If that is the motivation, then motivation comes out of not feeling fulfilled. It comes from a non-wholesome state of mind. Now, however, we are developing and we like to progress. We like to improve things. It can be anything. Something in your home, something in your garage. That's no problem. That's not attachment or something like that. Wanting to see things around the world is also not a problem. But too much of the problems in personal lives of people is just from the fact that they don't take what they have, who they are, and really take the list of the questions they have and just dare to take a peekaboo. Oh, is that my answer to my question, my confusion? The problem is with the dealing, because if you have a question, say, about something, why am I not in a relationship? Why don't I have a job? Why this? Why am I feeling this? Why doesn't somebody respond to this? I don't know, the list can go on. You have the answer, but it takes a lot of stillness to actually see the answer you already have for that question. It might be that what you think is true, or maybe you have an aspect of yourself that you don't want to recognize. Something in your own behavior, in my behavior, in everyone. When I say you, I don't mean you, I'm just talking generally, because this is a human condition. As I said, too much is bad, less of it is good, and none of it is, that's a good state of living. So, and this is because those answers you and me have for certain questions about our own life maybe are dark, maybe they are maybe we feel ashamed, maybe we don't like to discuss that with anybody. That's why people have gurus, psychologists and all that. But eventually, I don't know how people deal with that. For me, it is simple. It has always been, okay, there's the basement, go down there, get a goosebump from your own self. And this is something I did in the past. So no more questions. And some of the answers to those questions, as I said, might be shameful, not what you thought they would be. So you feel disdain, sort of. You don't want to be associated with that part of yourself. However, that doesn't mean you're a lost case, nor am I, because some of those might be aspects which are for a fact true about yourself or somebody else or something else. But they might also be something that has grown into a forest, and it's all been rooted from a certain kind of misinformation, misconception, or a non-wholesome state of mind, not a pure state of mind. And thinking about how we live our life, you know, growing up, school, society, social relationships and all that, we are prone to have misconceptions about things, and we don't have mentors. And not all mentors are good, not all mentors work for everybody. And when I say mentors, I don't mean that you necessarily have to be having one or something, but just that the society in general doesn't sort of go and delve into these things, because you see, there's a reason why we have so many injustices and problems in our society. They're all rooted from that basement within ourselves, and we don't deal with that. We don't have an arena for that in our society, which has yet to reach the mainstream. Not everything that reaches the mainstream of human consciousness globally must be bad. So within that, when you think about that, when you ponder this, you realize that there is no question. You already have the answer. So it's easy to spend your lifetime criticizing other people, focusing on everything else, but to make your mind and body sort of feel light and capable of dealing with, I'm not saying dealing as in a negative thing, but just staying clear, is to acknowledge those answers, and then to see, oh, what a horrible answer I had to that question. Now, why might that be so? Was I misguided by myself during all that life, growing up and all that, of having misconceptions about things? Was there a propaganda in school? Was there a society that affected me negatively? And this can range from everything from, political correctness to the medieval times where people were not supposed to take baths. The range is very wide, and it's different for every individual, and it also is wide and it goes very deep. But it's all very simple. Now the thing is, here comes the last sort of thing that I've discovered and overcome. It's the attachment to actually being fueled by that. So that tension that creates, that friction, that energy that is created from your question and the answer you don't want to deal with within yourself, gives you some kind of energy, some kind of a lust to search for something, ask everybody and everything, go on quest and all that. And that might seem as a great thing, but you're still carrying the non-wholesome state of mind in doing all that. It doesn't come out from genuine sort of inner love and compassion. And of course, not everything in life can be dealt with love and compassion. You have to be firm sometimes, but we talk about this is more about personal stuff. And if one doesn't deal with this, you continue on and on with a habit. A habit creates actions, and that is basically what is supposed to be karma. Karma is not something that has a banking system where, I give to charity, cha-ching, I get some good stuff, or I do something bad and so on. There is no justice like that. But it's all about habits and action, and sometimes the intention of an action. I mean, it can be something silly, like you want to stretch your hand up to help somebody, but who knows, a child comes with rollerblades there and hits your arm and falls down and hurts, you know, get a head injury or something. The intention wasn't bad. There's so many aspects of it, but there's no need to intellectualize and complicate these things. It all boils down to this. We have the answers for our questions, our desires, our wants, our needs, and everything. When we face those answers, we can see ourselves for who we are. We might not like the answers, the ideas we have deep down inside. They might be true. We might have some personality attributes that are bad or harmful, or it can be something that's based on years of misconceptions and all that. And from that instant gone, you can delete that. You can just change. I mean, we can change over a day. We can change our minds and, you know, lose baggage just from an instant of realization. And we might call that some kind of a tiny enlightenment or something. I don't deal with this enlightenment. I don't necessarily believe in all that, but just for the sake of defining it, your own personal enlightenment, you can change instantly. And that's with your problems, unless they are really something, you know, injuries, illnesses. We create them ourselves, because there's a difference, as I said, between making a problem and finding some solution and being stuck and living off that frictional energy between acknowledgement and wanting something, or, you know, genuine sort of practical problems or solutions or improvements we want to make, like buying a machine for your garage or something simple as that, or more complicated. And in the end, what are we feeding off? Where do we get our energy? It's not the breakfast, it's not the lunch, it's not our diets. It's the, you know, the feeling of waking up and going to bed satisfied, and realizing from where we feed off. Do we feed from that friction of our own illusion of questions and problems and the thing we just don't want to face? Or do we feed from, you know, like a free-flowing honesty within ourselves? And honesty means not just telling the truth, but also accepting your own ugly truths about yourself. And to just conclude this based on habits which lead to actions, which is kind of the karmic concept. When we reset, when your memory resets, when you realize this, you sort of nullify, and you really feel like you can start over again, be reborn, make some kind of a baptizing of yourself. You don't need to go into the water. I mean, there's nothing more. There's nothing more to it. It's just like that. And if that is accomplished to a good level, then that kind of memory loss, or that sort of getting rid of the misconceptions and dealing with the ugly beliefs you have, ideas, thoughts, and all that, dealing with your personal traits and so on, things get so much more clear. Because there is a problem. People are like very unhappy. They're not like shining and being, you know, I always think about people like to bash those like Christian preachers on the streets, or like Hare Krishna people. I'm not affiliated with them, by the way. But, you know, they walk around the streets and they have these eyes shining and they're happy and all like triggered. Maybe we don't have to be like that, but that's our natural state of mind. But we seem to think that being some kind of grumpy and, you know, having some issues all the time without having really issues is some kind of something natural that is part of life. Yes, confusion is part of our life, but it's not there to be permanent or to cover up our own sort of free-flowing honesty and so on. And I always say this, when you are kind of in a good mood, or you have sort of reached a state in life where you are very pleased and happy, you get along just fine, you have some plans, you're content, that's not a boring place to be. It's the next level. It's getting from the water to the surface and being able to swim anywhere. You see this from people, you hear their stories, you hear their problems, you hear their talk and all that, and there's no way you can sort of take up a deep kind of discussion. And I guess that's why I make a video like this. For what it's worth, it might be of some use for someone, or just a reinforcement, or me myself putting some experience into words on a camera, just recording it, sort of making pseudo chapters, you know, to the idea, to the concept, to the experience, basically, and so on. So that's that. Thanks for watching. All the best. Ciao.